All right. Welcome back to another episode of my movie review series, episode 477. Now, hello, summer. Last week, I said that I was coming back with the blockbuster portion of the movie review series, something like that. But yeah, back in the superhero field, and in honor of the upcoming Fantastic Four movie, Fantastic Four First Steps from the MCU, in honor of that, I'm covering this Fantastic Four, Fantastic Four 2005, Fantastic Four 2005. You know, I thought this movie came out in 2004. It would make more sense if it did. But yeah, Fantastic Four 2005. Yeah. Ioan Gruffudd, Jessica Alba, Chris Evans, before we knew him as Chris Evans. Uh, Michael Chiklis from The Shield. Not The Shield. Not that Shield, you know. Not Reigns and Ambrose and Rollins, not that Shield, but the TV show The Shield. Hell, Julian McMahon from Nip Tuck, another show on FX. Man, how about that, huh? Fox on these guys. Yeah, and Kerry Washington, just to name a few. But yeah, this movie though, you know, one of those early Marvel movies, not even set up the MCU because nobody was thinking that far at the time. But yeah, one of those early Marvel movies that some may say missed the mark and some may say hit the mark. You know, if you're a Fantastic Four fan, you know, Fantastic Four comic book fan, you know, you might say that it missed the mark. But if you like superhero movies, you know, if you like um, team up movies, you know, movies with good teamwork and a good family dynamic story, then yeah, this movie may hit the mark for you. But yeah, I tell you, man, you know, yeah, what's the point of having Jessica Alba in here and you're gonna make her invisible? That is the point. You got the most beautiful woman ever, but nobody can see her. But you got the dude that was the most handsome man, you know, doing the nice handsome face, but he's turned into a gruesome monster, a gruesome rock monster. And then you got the the hothead kid who turned into an actual hothead, a human torch. And then you got the smartest man in the world, you know, the guy he can just stretch his mind in any aspect of that meaning, and yeah, he he now stretches everything else. You know, mm, if you know that sound effect, then you know how back I went when Fantastic Four is being mentioned. Okay. Oh man, I tell you, yeah, the 1960s TV show. You know, if you remember the early days of Cartoon Network, then you know that they show the Fantastic Four 1960s TV show a lot. I remember marathoning that show, you know, taping the entire marathon for my brother because he was I think he was working on that Saturday. So I sat down and I taped the entire marathon for him because that's what he wanted. And yeah, you know, I even caught the commercials. So yeah, I was all Fantastic Four out. The rest of that day. And man, I tell you, like I used to that theme song though. I should link that theme song in the description. But yeah, you know, yeah, the Fantastic Four, you know, it's a really good movie. This movie is damn good shit. You know, seeing Julian McMahon as Doctor Doom, seeing Doctor Doom in this movie, you know, seeing him be revealed as Doctor Doom, you know. First you see him in his shadow, you know, he got the cloak and the hat and the hood on. Seeing him in the shadow, and then you know you see, you know, he turns and comes into the light, and you see that metallic mask. Yeah, after all, we both doctors. Painful. You don't know the meaning of the word. You know what I mean? Seeing how his eyes, you know, just illuminate in the, you know, while he's wearing the mask, and his eyes is telling giving the emotion. But yeah, I tell you, man, yeah, this movie though, yeah, a lot of great moments to come out this movie. You know, the bridge scene, you know, thing. He's sitting on the bridge, and the some disgruntled guy, he about to commit suicide. You know, he drops his briefcase, and he about to drop himself, but Ben, he pretty much took him off the bridge, you know, scaring him off the bridge anyway, you know. So yeah, I tell you, man. Yeah, see, see, so yeah, I tell you, yeah, seeing that whole thing go down, you know, and then yeah, the man, he falls, you know, he's trying to he's on the like the separation gurney of it. So yeah, he slips, hangs on, and then yeah, he lets go, and then he's on the bridge. You know, here comes the truck. Bends, he jumps down right in front. Truck's coming at him. You know, he just smashed right into the truck, stopping it. So yeah, you know, and then the rest of the team shows up. You know, team before they become a team, they just now displaying their powers. But yeah, you know, a little girl was about to a little girl about to get burned. You know, there was a tank that was about to explode. Johnny, he sees this, he jumps over, he grabs the little girl, shooting her, and the tank explodes. You know, fire comes at him, but yeah, he's not affected by it because he's Human Torch. And then yeah, you know, with the fire starting to blow everything, Sue, she uses her force wave. You know, not knowing how she is doing this, but yeah, she's using her force wave. You know, and yeah, she puts the fire out, but it takes a lot out of her. And yeah, you know, a firefighter, you know, his truck is starting to hang off the bridge, and yeah, Ben, he grabs the truck, and he's trying to pull it back, and yeah, the firefighter, he's hanging off of the one of the ladders. And yeah, he falls, but Reed grabs onto him, you know, brings him back up. You know, he stretched out, grabbed onto him, he brings him back up. So yeah, I tell you, man, yeah, and then you know, the media, they started to call them the Fantastic Four. So Johnny, he took this and ran with it. You know, these guys are scientists, but Johnny, he made them celebrities. You know, yeah, old Johnny Storm. Yeah, I tell you, yeah, Chris Evans before we knew him as Chris Evans. You know, the last movie I saw him in before he did this was a movie called Cellular, and I already covered that a few years ago. You know, check that out. So yeah, with all that going down, you know, yeah, you see that I'll tell you how they missed the mark on Doctor Doom. You know how he got his powers. You know, I'm not very familiar with the Fantastic Four's. Well, I am familiar with the origin story in the comics. You know, yeah, they got hit by cosmic rays like they did with this movie, but with Doom, I'm not very familiar about how he got his powers. I mean, apparently he's one of the most powerful characters in the entire Marvel universe. But with this movie, he was kind of watered down, you know. So yeah, the way they beat him, it wasn't exactly, uh, I guess you could say comic book accurate. But yeah, the way they beat him, you know, the Johnny, he built up his heat to a supernova surrounding Doom. Sue, she contained the heat with her invisible force wave, you know, and so yeah, while 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 after all that went down, Johnny, he turned off the heat. Sue, she let go of the container in the force field, and then this is where Reed and Thing comes in, and yeah, Thing kicks over the fire hydrant, using his foot, directs the water towards Reed, and he directs the water towards Doom. And yeah, what happens when you rapidly cool hot metal? You freeze it, right? So yeah, that's exactly what they did. They turned him into a human statue. That's how they beat him. But yeah, they pretty much, they did miss the mark with Doctor Doom. They mutated his body pretty much from the inside. Making it into organic metallic alloy. But Doom in the comics, his body was completely disfigured, and he made this metallic suit, and then he had the green suit over that, so you got the armor on, and you got the green suit, the hood and the cape, you got Doctor Doom as we know him as we know him in the comics. So yeah, two very different appearances, two very different origins for that character. So yeah. Now, how they gonna do Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom? That remains to be seen. But yeah, with this movie though, yeah, it hit, but it missed. But when it did miss, it didn't exactly miss a lot. You know, it worked. This movie worked a lot better than the second one, and I'll talk about that next month. So yeah, so yeah, this movie though, a real good, not solid, but a real good 4 5. Yeah, I'd do it. Yeah, that's my review, Jack, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah, next week though. Next week, man, next week. Staying in the superhero field. And we're going to talk about I'm finally, after putting this off for a good number of years, I'm finally going to talk about the multicolored superhero team, those teenagers with attitude. Yes, we're talking about them. Yeah, Tommy, Kimberly, Billy, Rocky, Adam, Aisha. Talking about them. So you keep it locked right here for that, man. Check out my other shit right here. Subscribe to me right here. But in the meantime, between time, Jack, this show is